Hey guys, how you doing? My name is TJ, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the 3 things that you should do while in a coding bootcamp to help you get a job sooner rather than later. Now, before I start, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And also check out rootstechnology.info to learn more about my coding and career prep program, where I teach people how to code and serve as their tutor and mentor on their coding journey. Now, let's get into the 3 things that you should do while in a coding bootcamp to help increase your chances of getting a job sooner rather than later. Number 1, start working on one of your portfolio projects while you're still in the bootcamp. Now, this is very important because starting to work on your portfolio project while you're in the bootcamp will give you access to teachers that can help you whenever you get stuck, because it is a lot harder to get help with whatever projects you are actually working on once you finish the program. So it doesn't have to be much. You can just spend like an hour a day during the actual program working on your own personal portfolio projects and reaching out to the TAs and teachers to help you with anything whenever you get stuck. Okay, so this is very important because the sooner that you have projects on your portfolio, the better and the easier it'll be to start job searching a lot sooner. And another reason why this is big is because many bootcamp students graduate at the same time with the same projects and applying to the same jobs in the same program, right? So everybody's competing against each other for the same jobs. And one of the best way to stand out is to have your own projects, because a lot of people graduating in the boot camps are just going to have the same group projects that the boot camp gave all the students to do. So a good way to stand out to employers is to have a project that's different from what they're seeing from everybody else in your class. Number 2, start creating a technical interview study sheet. As your bootcamp is teaching you a bunch of these different technologies and tools, make sure that you are writing down different terms and concepts that you might not understand, and even the ones that you do understand, start to actually write those down, whether on flashcards or a actual study sheet that you use to study. Write down terms, definitions, examples, code examples, all of these things, because once you actually graduate, you still have to really study and make sure that you understand all of the different technical tools and technologies that you are working on in the bootcamp. That's going to be very important. And matter of fact, the main reason why that's important leads to the 3rd major thing that you should do while you're in a bootcamp. Now, this is the last thing, but this is actually probably one of the biggest and most important things that you should be doing overall. And this 3rd thing is that you should start practicing talking out loud about coding concepts. Something that a lot of bootcamp grads don't realize, and even just a lot of people learning how to code don't really think about, is that learning to code is one part of getting a job. But the second part is the actual interview process. And the main thing in that interview process that impacts you getting a job is your ability to communicate technical concepts clearly and efficiently, right? Which is why it's very important for you to really have a good understanding of all the tools and technologies that you're learning, because it doesn't really matter as much that you know how to code. If you don't know how to talk about your code and explain it to someone and clearly show that you understand the concepts that you are actually working on, then it doesn't matter, right? Like, it doesn't matter that you know how to build this big, huge, amazing application. If you don't know how to communicate and talk about it or explain what's happening in the code to somebody, no one's going to hire you. So make sure that you are practicing talking out loud about all of these different concepts so that you start getting comfortable just talking about code and just talking in technical terms. So a good way to actually do this is to practice with people in your bootcamp. If you can't find somebody to practice with in your bootcamp, you can just call a friend, and this person doesn't have to be technical. And really, practicing this with a non-technical person might actually be a bigger help for you, because this will now really challenge you to try to break these concepts down into bite-sized pieces for someone, right? An absolute beginner that has no technical concept at all whatsoever. The better that you are able to explain things to that person, the better that you'll be able to explain things in your actual technical interviews, and the more confident you'll feel. So that's it. Those are the 3 major keys that you need to really focus on and make sure that you work hard at doing and balancing while you're in a coding bootcamp to set yourself up for success once the program ends so that you can get a job sooner rather than later. Just to go over those 3 keys again, the first one is to start working on one of your portfolio projects while you are still in the bootcamp and have access to your teachers and your TAs. The second step is to start creating a study sheet of technical terms, code samples, and concepts that you're learning so that you can immediately start to study those things once you also finish the bootcamp. And the third and probably the most important thing is to start practicing talking out loud about technical concepts so that you start getting very comfortable talking in technical terms. And this will really start to get you comfortable just talking in interviews overall, because the technical interview is a lot different from the average interview that most people go through. So hopefully you found these tips helpful. Remember, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And if you are thinking about joining a coding bootcamp, or you are just interested in learning how to code, make sure you check out rootstechnology.info to learn more about my coding and career prep program, where I teach people how to code and serve as their tutor and mentor.